I'm Jenny. I'm Communications Manager for GMYN, Greater Manchester Youth Network. GMYN is a charity, so we help young people transition into adulthood, particularly those whose experiences so far in life might make that quite challenging. So young people who are or have been in care, or young people who have special educational needs and disabilities. And my job as comms manager is to make sure that the charity is presented in the best way possible to the right people. So I manage the branding, so that's what visuals and what language we use to show what we're about. I manage the social media, I do a lot of writing, I also do the creative things like design, photography and video editing, and I'm also really involved in fundraising, so telling stories and proving how important the work that we do is so that we can get money in and keep doing the work that we do. When I was at school, I had absolutely no idea what I wanted to do. I'm from a working class family, so I'd never met anyone with a proper job. So I didn't even know what jobs existed, never mind what kind of job I wanted. All that I knew was that I liked drawing, I liked writing, and I didn't want to wear a suit. But I didn't think that a job that included all of those things existed. So I studied a BTEC in art and design at college, which I loved, but we weren't really given any information about what options were available after. There were people who didn't want to go to uni, and they weren't looked down on, but they were a bit left out because we spent so much time on personal statements, applications, portfolios, that it really did feel like uni was the only option. So I went to uni. I studied visual communications, specialising in illustration. But I think I knew before I went that I'd gone for the wrong reasons. I think I went to fill time before I had to work out what to do next, which I don't think is necessarily a bad thing, but it meant for me that I wasn't invested in my course. I also didn't want to be an illustrator in the sense that I didn't want to be moving from project to project, designing things for businesses that I didn't know much about or even care about. For some people, that's perfect. But for me, I think I needed to be a bit more emotionally invested in something in order to really try. And also for a lot of people, uni is the best time of their lives. But for me, it was just this massive culture shock. I moved from one of the most rural areas in the country to one of the most urban, and that was actually quite difficult for me. So I left uni within the first year. I had no idea what to do, didn't think there was such a thing as a job that I could enjoy what I was doing, like on a practical level, but at the same time care about. So I just started applying for everything. One day someone said to me, "Have you thought about an apprenticeship?" And I'd heard about apprenticeships in things like childcare or construction, which, are great careers, but never something that I thought I was going to be remotely good at. But then I started looking around and I found that there were hundreds of them, all in different careers. And I started applying, did some work experience alongside as a teaching assistant so that I didn't lose my mind on the job hunt. And then in December 2012, I started a business admin apprenticeship at Ashton Sixth Form College. One of the really great things about working in a college, especially doing an apprenticeship in a college, given how departmental they are, is that you get to meet and learn from people with very different skills doing very different jobs. And that means that you get to try different types of work. One day I got the chance to do a little bit of design work for the marketing department, and they realised that I knew Photoshop and I'd studied art and that I was good at it. So I got a few more bits and pieces of work like that. And that meant that when my apprenticeship came to an end, they gave me the opportunity to stay on for another year and do a level 3 apprenticeship in marketing, promoting their HE courses. So there wasn't a job for me at the end of my apprenticeships. It was only ever going to be temporary, which I knew and I was fully prepared for. But I still gained so much through my apprenticeships that made it quite easy to find a job after. I think one of the biggest things that I gained, which sounds so simple, but it was a big deal for me, was learning how to talk on the phone. The phone used to terrify me, but being able to learn how to do it in an environment where everyone knew that I didn't have much work experience and, where everyone gave me the time to get comfortable with it and learn how to do it on the job with support, that was really great. I also think from my apprenticeships, I gained the confidence in my ability to do the job. If I'd stayed at uni, I'd have had a lot of technical and theoretical knowledge, which is obviously really valuable. So I'd have been able to go to interviews and into other jobs saying, I learnt about this on my degree, so this is how I think I would do it. But from having done an apprenticeship, I was able to say confidently, I learnt about this on my apprenticeship, which was a real job, and I've done it before. So it definitely gave me that confidence in my skills and my abilities, and also the evidence to back up that I could do the job On my apprenticeships as well, I got the chance to go around schools and give talks. It was like a volunteering opportunity, which meant that I gained experience and skills in facilitation, so leading activities and training. And it also opened up this whole new world of working for me, like the thought of working for charities or socially conscious organisations, which I'd never really considered before. So that's what I ended up doing. I started working in youth projects for charities, where I got to do some really interesting things, like I got to go down to London with a group of about 40 young people and sit in Parliament and lead a discussion with Angela Rayner and other MPs. So that was really exciting. And also, working for GMYN, we managed to get Johnny Marr to come in and take part in a session with young people, and he was playing the guitar, so I got to be a photographer for that. So that was really exciting. But what I also found was that working for small organisations, they didn't really have the money for a marketing or communications department. So my marketing experience was so valuable. I was always running social media or being a photographer or designing flyers. So I used experience from my apprenticeships every day. And that meant that I built up a good 6 years of experience in working with young people and doing marketing at the same time, which meant that when this communications job at GMYN came up, it was absolutely perfect for me. And I now have this network of people as well who I've met throughout my career who can contact me when little bits of freelance work come up. So it's absolutely brilliant for me. If I hadn't done my apprenticeship, I would not be as happy as I am now. I probably would have gone back to uni and I would have finished it the second time around because I wouldn't have known what else to do. And I think I'd probably have ended up working for a designing or a marketing agency. And, being honest, charities don't pay very much because they can't. So I might be earning a lot more, but I wouldn't be going to work every day genuinely caring about the organisation that I work for and knowing that the work that I do is helping people. I might also never have had the opportunity to volunteer, so I might not have found out that a career in a charity is an option, which means that I certainly wouldn't have had such a varied and challenging role. But I mean, it's not just my career that would have been different, my whole life would be. I wouldn't have the friends that I have now because I'm still good friends with people who are apprentices alongside me. I wouldn't live in the house that I live in now because I met my landlady while I was working at the college. And that means that I wouldn't have met my fiance. So my whole life would have been different. And I'm almost certain that I wouldn't be as happy as I am now. What I would say to people weighing up their options after school or college is that lots of people will tell you what they think you should do. And they do that because they care and they only want what's best for you. But really, the only person who knows what's best for you is you. Try things. If they don't work, they don't work. At least you know then and you can move on to the next thing. Finding out and admitting that something isn't right for you is a good thing. It's not a failure. So, it can be hard going against what people expect of you, but if you try things and it doesn't work for you, it is a good thing to be able to say, look, I've tried it. It made me unhappy, or it didn't work for me. I will be far happier. I will have a more fulfilling career, and it will just work better for me if I try something different. So yeah, it can be hard going against what people expect of you, but just trust yourself. They're not in your head.